Makes no difference where I go, you're the best hometown I know. Hello Pittsburgh, Channel 4 loves you. Makes no difference where I go, you're the best hometown I know. Hello Pittsburgh, Channel 4 loves you.
I do one thing. I kick this ball through those two poles. Do one thing all the time. You get to be great. Like Kentucky Fried Chicken. They don't try to do everything. Just chicken, and no one else does it tender and juicy the Colonel's way.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do it right for you.
I do kicking right. They do chicken right.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
This is Century 3 Chevrolet's annual Memorial Day clearance sale.
And now through Memorial Day, every new Century 3 Chevrolet and Geo in stock is on sale.
400 to choose.
New Gladiator van conversions from just $16,993.
93 Luminous from just $10,993.
93 Cavaliers from just $69,993.
Century 3 Chevrolet's annual Memorial Day clearance sale.
Now through Memorial Day.
That's a good deal.
Century 3 Chevrolet, Lebanon Church Road, Pittsburgh.
Minutes from the mall.
Let's go see the bus. What are you waiting for? Let's go see the bus. Hey, let's go see the bus. Like the Kroger store. Let's go see the bus. Down at Three River Stadium with all of the action and all of the fun. Hey, let's go see the bus. You really can't go wrong. Let's go see. Take a place to love. You and me. Come on along. Hey, let's go see the bus.
They dared the devil. They conquered the capitals. They bruised the Bruins. And all the while, we knew they were headed for the stars. A salute to the Pens. From Pittsburgh's other champions on ice, IC Light and Iron City Beer.
Dude, get out of my seat. What'd I miss?
Oh, nothing, man. Not bad. Give me some sugar.
Go Pens!
Woohoo!
Jim Krenn and Randy Bauman. Mornings on 102.5 DVE.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to yet another episode of Rogan Radio live from the friendly confines of Studio A here on the luxurious ranch of Casa La Rogan Report.
There we go. Yeah.
And you know what? Listen, it's a lot warmer in here than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Because I already told Vic, I said, it's going to be cold when we go in there. And she said, you better dress warm. Because you know how Rogan is.
Well, how is Rogan? I would love to know that.
Cheap ass that don't turn the heater on.
Yeah, before you got married, it would be like 41 degrees in here.
Yeah. It would
now
be
she's
too.
got you conditioned to turn the heat on.
It would be too.
And now you're starting to think about us a little bit,
Want
too.
to welcome everybody to the house party tonight.
I don't think he was thinking about us. He was thinking about the equipment being too cold to run this show.
Listen, my equipment's never too cold to operate, Chad. Listen, we have, I want to give some shout-outs. Last week we started it, and it was all the people from around the world. Like, we broadcast locally here in the Lumberport, Shinson, North Central West Virginia area. But we also have a worldwide audience, which is a bigger audience.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't know that, man.
Well, you know what? We were talking to Steve Shingleton, an old friend, and he said, well, I can't watch it on, I'm normally doing something on Sundays. And Michelle was telling him, listen to it.
Yeah.
You can listen to the daggone thing. So we're going to have a little tutorial on that. I almost slipped up there, which I'm going to save that for later. But I want to give some shout-outs to some cities around the world.
Okay.
All right. San Jose, California, big one this past week. Detroit, Michigan. Let's go with I have bifocals. Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Pretty good. No, I don't even know how to say this one. Docking, Dayton, Switzerland, or something like that.
That's cool.
That's pretty awesome. Philadelphia, of course. Just rolling down through some of these. Moscow. Now, you know what? We're in collusion because we like listeners.
Better be careful.
Must be Putin.
We have Epping, Australia.
All right.
Say it, Brucey.
Epping, Australia. Thanks, mate.
There you go. Fantastic.
Thanks for listening, mate.
Well, I'm looking through some of these things. And again, Belgium, Namur, Belgium, I guess, San Antonio.
And stronger.
And we got Mississauga, Canada. We love Canada. Waco, Texas. I have to look out for Waco. But thanks for listening, everybody. And tonight you will not be disappointed because we are bound to make somebody mad.
Yeah.
Worst show ever. This is the worst show ever.
No, it's actually going to be one of the best shows. And because of that, now I didn't discuss this with the fellas, but because there's a lot of people not getting paychecks. You have seasonal workers right now that aren't getting paychecks. The government workers, they're on furlough right now. Whatever. Tonight. Now listen. This is going to kind of hurt us. We're going to kind of go out on a limb. Tonight's episode. Absolutely free for everybody that's listening.
Yep.
Not for anybody in particular. Anybody that's free. It's absolutely free. And you know what? And if you guys want to get kind of balls-ass crazy.
Yeah, I do.
I say we do this from the rest of the time we do this show.
Just free.
100% free.
Free. There we go.
All right, I think we can do that.
Okay, we're going to do it absolutely free.
Boring.
We have some great stuff to talk about. We have jokes. We're going to have this. There's a story going around now about stand-up comedy that is actually dying. And the reason it's dying because people are getting too offended by what the stand-up comedians are saying. I don't know if you guys ever been to a stand-up comedy show, but listen, they're brutally honest, but it's funny because you have to laugh at yourself, right?
Well, look at Kevin Hart. He's not hosting the Oscars this year,
right?
Because of something he said in one of his routines, like 11 years ago or something like that.
It's absolutely crazy.
But everybody's got their panties in a bun. You can't say this about this.
But stand-up comedy is brutal. Brutal. Is that camera? Is that brutal. Is that caught on something right there?
What is it? What?
That camera. Jimmy misophonia. Oh, okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. I was just.
It makes me sick.
Asking for a friend.
Makes me sick.
But anyway, stand-up comedy is dead. So what we're going to do? We're going to try to revive stand-up comedy tonight. We're going to do our own jokes. And let me tell you something. These jokes aren't going to be for the faint of heart. They're going to be, first of all, do I want to say filthy?
No, that's a very accurate.
They're going to be They're going to be.
Some
Listen,
of them are filthy. Some of them are just on the edge. Dirty innuendos.
I don't. Yeah. No, I think they're pretty straightforward. They're going to be pretty bad.
Some of them.
Well, yeah,
they're going to be pretty bad. Don't hold it against us. We're doing it for the greater good of comedians everywhere.
Yes.
Chuck has never said that to me.
And we guarantee you that whether you admit it to whoever you're sitting to, your left or your right, inside, you're going to laugh.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You'll laugh inside and go, oh, my gosh.
How can they say that? I don't like these guys anymore. Good thing this is free.
Hey, Todd, on the picture here, man, your beard's looking really gray. Oh, wait, that's in real life, too. Whoops.
Look at Toddy Doodle over here, and look at this straight hair. He looks almost like I don't know, like what's his name? Like Dwight Yoakam in all those movies when he's like a serial killer or something.
You know, if you actually cut your hair and shave, you'd actually look younger. Yeah.
You know what they always say? They say look on top to see what's down below, and I would even hate to think about that. See, we're already starting the comedy routine.
He does not manscape.
There was a reason.
The carpet does not always match the drapes.
We're going to leave that out of the conversation because I'm sure. I'm not a home designer or home decor guy, so I'm not really sure. I love Martha Stewart and Rachel Ray, but that's more cooking oriented. Anyway, we also have what I don't get. Listen, and this spurred this because I just happened to see it the other day. Some legislative stuff went through, I guess bills, or I don't know if they actually passed or not.
Introduced
in the down in West Virginia about now it is going to be somewhat legal. I don't know all the details about this, but if you see a dog in a car that you can actually break into the car to get the dog out. It's like a save a dog or save, and I'm not sure that's exactly what it is. Like I said,
save a horse,
ride a cowboy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that goes, but I noticed a story that the biggest thing right now in like humane societies are these mini pigs that people got. Now, you ever seen somebody buy a mini pig?
I have seen them in a house. I've worked in a house.
A mini pig is just a pig if it's just you by yourself. If the whole family's eating, then you get a big pig.
Well, a mini pig grows. I mean, some of these people are now realizing that they're 200 pounds and they're a pig. You know what? And they're like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and give these things away. Oh my goodness, dude!
I'm surprised you haven't noticed.
What's going on? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this super howling blood moon that's happening tonight. The reason they call it a super howling blood moon, do you have any idea?
The wind blows? I don't know.
Yeah. I'll tell you exactly
when it's really
why.
windy.
Wind blows?
The reason being it's a super moon because it's the closest to the Earth that the moon comes to it.
Right.
A howling moon it happens actually in January where all your howlers are in their like mating season. You know,
what is a
your
howler?
Coyotes, your wolves. So that's when you get your howl. Wolfman Jack, he was like always kind of crazy in January.
Wolfman Jack.
And blood is because of all the stuff in the atmosphere. When it actually happens, it's going to kind of look red tonight.
Weird sailors.
Either that or the world's going to come to an end, and you know what? We'll see you next life.
Yeah.
So that could be that.
Will still be free then?
It'll still be free.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we made the declaration that this thing's going to be absolutely free from the time we do this now because I'm tired. I'm just tired of seeing people suffer that they have to pay for this.
That's right.
Kevin Wiles said, "Bring your animals in tonight." It's going to be down to like single digits.
It's 7 degrees.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Kevin.
Bring them inside. They're cold. Just like you get cold, they get cold.
And make sure you do something for water because water freezes. And you know what? Don't put warm water out thinking you're doing them a favor because warm water actually freezes faster than cold water.
Yep.
Yeah. Who we got with us tonight?
We got Cassie Allen jumped on.
Hello, Cassie.
Joey Maxwell. Joey Maxwell.
Crystal Richards.
Hello,
Got
Crystal.
a lot of people from these party things here. What do you got, Derek?
I got, let's see, Bobby Bart, Susan Pratt, David Akers, Robbie Mitchell, Matt Hall, Megan, Jamie Lanham, Steve Hardesty, Lisa Holt, Bobby Bart again. He must keep just rejoining. Randy Scott.
Randy down in Florida.
Heather
Making us
Ashcraft,
jealous.
Yeah.
Daniel Steyer.
Nice.
I know. I did the start the party thing too, and I'm getting tons of people on here.
Bunch of people you
got
probably don't
Melissa
recognize.
Hildreth, Kelly Beverlin, Brian Chris, Alicia Enoch.
Yeah, if they just hit the share button, that'd be
Amber
appreciated.
Do it. Hit that share button. Subscribe.
Joe Clevenger, Wesley Benson, Bill Layton.
What's up, Bill?
Wayne Worth, Polly Courtney, Vicky Beck. Did I say Wayne Worth? We love Wayne Worth around here.
Yeah, he's good.
Pam Kirby's on here. Wesley Benson jumped on. Bill Layton.
I'm going to be fixing my mic here. Hold on.
Do it.
Jessica McClanahan.
Who? We're just
Jessica McClanahan.
Jessica McClanahan.
He's got like a giant, looks like Barney doing some dance up there.
Let me ask you this. Have you guys ever had a dream? Like when you dream and you have this very vivid dream and you wake up and then you can't remember it anymore. And it almost makes you mad because you're like, man, I want to remember this dream.
Yeah.
Which I came up with an idea. So the day that I die, I'm going to go up and I'm going to say, hey, God, listen, you messed up a little bit. First of all, you did that junk with the esophagus. Why would you even think? I mean, I'm not a bioengineer by any stretch of the imagination. And don't take this, take criticism well. But don't put a pipe on a bag that can't handle what's handling it in the bag. You know what I mean? If you're going to make the esophagus a little insulated next time for future generations.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Look like again?
Looks like this.
It kind of looks like this.
Bag's
And the
right
second of
here.
all, and make this an option. Make this thing an option, and you could charge like $9.95 a month for it. A DVR for your brain. So you could if you wake up from this great dream, then you could kind of say, okay, I'm going to pause this thing. I'm going to go back and catch it at a later time.
Yeah.
Or if you have a memory and you want to relive this memory, and you just sit down and you put your glasses on and you close your eyes and you hit the button in your head and bang, it'll take you right back to that.
Worst has got to be when you actually wake up and you remember the dream. You're like, that was awesome dream. And then you want to tell somebody about it later, and you're like,
gone.
A lot of times, a lot of times these days, and I used to blame it on old age, and I think it's just because it's not old age, it's just because I'm not focused anymore, is that I want to remember a dream, which I could remember the dream if I could remember to tell somebody that I had a dream.
Yeah.
It's the point of remembering that I had a dream, not necessarily the dream
Well, a lot
itself.
of people have these dream books or whatever, so they
Translate.
keep next to their
Yeah.
night, well,
Yeah,
like
so
their
they
next
write
thing.
down?
Yeah, so they write it down as soon as they wake up.
Really?
They won't forget.
Yeah.
It's like I'll get in the shower and I'll be like, come on, and I'll run it through my head 100 times. Like, what?
Yeah, just trying to remember.
Remember it.
It's kind of funny. Well, let me tell you about this dream I had the other night. Now, this is the bizarre dream.
I don't know that we want to hear your
No,
dream.
most certainly, because it involves two people in this room.
I hope it's me and Jimmy.
Well, I'll tell you one, and this is honest to God's truth. This is the honest to God's truth. I don't know what I had for dinner this night, but this is going to be this is scandalous.
Okay.
First of all, have you ever had a dream where you died?
No.
No. Okay.
No,
Well, I had
up
this
to
all the
it.
time.
I never actually do the dying part.
Okay, well, I've had that. So in this particular dream, I die. And the first scene is Pat next to my coffin in a room where there's nobody at.
Okay.
All right? Now, I'm thinking I'm a little pissed at this point. I'm like, why isn't anybody at the funeral home? Well, you know what I mean? Why isn't anybody?
Yeah, like, what's up?
No one loves you, Chucky.
Then, yes, I know why now. Because your first thought would be, where's Michelle? Okay, so for whatever reason, it's just like this vortex thing, whoosh, kind of thing. So I'm at this, next thing I know, I'm in a bar. Okay, now this is my eyeball seeing this stuff. And I see Todd's brother Jesse talking to Michelle at a bar. Okay? So then I hear Angie, so I know Jesse and Angie are still together.
Yeah, that's
right?
my brother's wife.
So they start talking about how much they love South Carolina. Because I'm remembering these details because this thing, when I woke up, I was going to remember this stuff because I was going to rub it in both their noses. Okay?
Were you mad? Okay.
Well, no, I wasn't mad. I was just like, what's going on? They should be at my funeral, not down here in South Carolina partying. You know what I mean? You have Angie, you have Jesse, and then you have Michelle. And they're at the bar. That's right. Then all of a sudden, this clown walks through. His name is Todd. So they start talking. Now, this bar, I've specifically remembered what this thing looked like and I know what room Michelle and Todd had because now they're a couple.
Uh-oh.
In this dream.
Ooh, she got smart, right?
I'm not sure where Vicky is in this entire situation.
Oh, yeah, we don't talk about her.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because I'm sitting here watching this. I'm watching Todd and his brother and the couples now, Angie, who's with Jesse, and Michelle, who's with Todd. And they're in this resort, and it's got 3 big pools. I remember Jesse saying, I wonder where the cheap beer is, and some guy walking up and saying, it's in the middle one over there, and it's got this big stage and a pool, and they're all having a good time. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on around here?
Right. Yeah.
Have you ever had something like a bizarre dream? Can you think of a bizarre?
Yeah.
No,
But that's what I
haven't
remember.
bizarre
Then I
dreams.
woke up and I said, I'm remembering this. And I don't know where it went after that, but I know this. Michelle and Todd were all over each other, and it was disgusting.
It was nasty.
And it wasn't disgusting because those two were together. It was disgusting because that should have been me with Todd.
That's right.
And I will never forgive Michelle.
That's what makes me
I
mad,
even when I woke up, I was like, how dare you cheat on me like that?
Dare you cheat on me in my
Hey,
dream?
Megan's had dreams before where she's woke up mad at me.
Yeah.
Oh, that is.
And I'm like, what did I do? She's like,
Yeah, but have you ever woke up and you're mad at her?
no.
Oh, I have.
No.
And you're all
You're
grumpy.
mad at Megan?
Why are you mad at Megan?
It's usually the opposite.
Oh, yeah, not Megan.
It's usually the opposite. When the guy has the bad dream about the girl, he wakes up and he goes, oh, she's right next to me.
no.
He cuddles with her. When the girl has the bad dream, they wake up and they kick you off the bed and you're like, what did I do?
You know what you did? That wasn't just a dream.
But have you ever? I mean, do you get dreams like that very often? Do you even remember dreams in the first place?
I'll tell you what. When I did, yeah, I do, but just bits and pieces. But when I was on the Chantix to quit smoking there a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That
buddy.
didn't work.
No, it didn't.
That's one of the side effects.
Oh yeah.
Not working? That's the side effect.
Waste of money.
No, you listen. You know what gives me weird dreams? Chocolate milk. If I drink chocolate milk before I go to bed, it must be the sugar in it or
let me
whatever.
ask you this.
Every single solitary time.
Then
Weird.
after
I
I
do
ask
don't
you
Yeah,
this-
yeah. I want to hear about the Chantix stuff.
Yeah, I will. Let me ask you this: when you were a kid and you would go to bed, would you like lay in bed and like I want to dream about like Transformers, and you would just think about it,
And then you would dream about it.
Yeah.
How
Did
old
you
were
ever-
you?
I don't know, 7, 8.
I was gonna say because once you hit about like 12, you'd be wanting to drink.
Well, right. But I mean,
yeah, Olivia Newton-John.
Did you ever do that though?
Oh yeah.
Am I the only one? Okay.
Yeah,
it's
no,
true.
absolutely.
It's true.
I've actually had recurring dreams before to where I've been in the same place. Like
I have too.
You know, like almost like a deja vu
Almost
feeling
like same
in a dream.
dream.
But it's bizarre like that, and there must be something in the subconscious. Brucey, you're a psychologist. Tell him what's wrong with me.
I have no idea.
Great news.
Yeah. So I'm on this Chantix.
Yeah,
right?
tell us about the Chantix.
So I'm on this Chantix, and I had a real bad habit of getting up and eating in the middle of the night, like anything. Like I was opening up cans of Chef Boyardee mini raviolis.
Better believe it.
And just eating them, just not even warmed up.
Oh, no, right out of the can.
Yeah. So you eat something like that anyway, it's going to give you a crazy dream. But I had this dream I was a broccoli farmer. All right.
Nice.
And I stumbled upon this broccoli farm on Odell's Knob. And I went and bought all the property, but it wasn't just like normal
It wasn't
broccoli.
broccoli up there.
It wasn't normal broccoli. It was broccoli like the size of trees.
That's
like,
a
so
lot of nacho cheese for that broccoli.
right? And I sold it like I like hurried up and got back home and went and got a pack of Allsick, and I'm like, hey, you got to check this out. So he comes with me. We sell our product to Kraft, and they give us season tickets to the Patriots. And I hate the Patriots. Well, I don't hate them.
By the way, how the Patriots
they're
doing right
winning.
now?
They're winning.
Oh, okay.
Enough football talk.
Yeah,
I wish they'd
but
just die.
but anyway, yeah. So I was this huge, and I was real rich, and this broccoli farmer, and I drove a school bus, and it was just.
Yeah,
man. Are you sure it wasn't? Are you sure it wasn't marijuana or like meth or something?
It was such a vivid dream. It was definitely like broccoli. Like I can see it in my head right now. These huge pieces of broccoli.
Oh
and I'm like,
goodness.
how does nobody not know about this?
Yeah, am I the only one that knows
80
how big
acres of
this-
broccoli. Yeah.
So why did you actually quit? It sounded like you need to get back on Chantix.
Well, man, I would for the dreams. I mean, it was crazy.
Well, speaking of Chantix, here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, right?
We need to actually make some chants.
Ooh.
Oh. You spell Chantix. Max Payne. All I want to do is quit smoking cigarettes, but instead I think of broccoli. When I wake up, I get the can opener, and the first thing I do is break open this can, and I put the little SpaghettiO things in a bowl, and I heat it up in the microwave that Kraft made, and now I eat it, and now I'm fat because of Chantix.
If someone just joined, sorry.
That's pretty funny, Chuck.
I like that. I like that.
Somebody just joined in the middle, be like,
What the hell is this?
What is that?
Craziness.
I wish you could control your dreams. That's what I wish.
Yeah, like if you could actually do that. Now
a subconscious mind is I can control it.
I'll tell you what I have tried. And see, I don't really get a lot of sleep, so they always have this REM stuff, and I love REM. But I'm not necessarily when it comes to dreams, because if I wake up in the middle of a REM dream, then I wake up and it almost takes me 2 hours to wake up.
Okay, good. I'm glad you
said
said that. So who's better, REM or Hall & Oates?
Oh, REM, man.
REM?
REM, absolutely.
Boom!
But now you throw Blink 182 in there or something like that.
I do
you
like
know what?
Blink
Then I
182.
love Blink. I'm on this Blink 182 kick right
I like
now for
them,
whatever
yeah.
reason. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Beastie
But
Boys.
in the middle of your dream, there's a lot of times I'm like, man, why didn't I do that?
Oh, yeah. Or like,
Why
you
didn't I do
Yeah,
that?
you say in your dream, you're like, I'm in control. But I said
But I'm
no.
not in control.
Well,
Yeah, I'm too much of a
is anybody out there watching? Is anybody
do you
commenting
guys
about their
have?
dreams?
Do you have dreams like this, or is it quite bizarre? Are we just abnormal?
Nah.
No, I don't.
No,
think
I had a dream
Everybody
last
does it.
night. I had a dream last night about, and this goes back to your point. I was
Yeah.
watching something last night with the Formula One race
Yeah,
car
yeah,
driver.
yeah.
Well, in my dream last night, I was there, and one of these Formula car drivers crashed.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Okay, but he's in it. He's still in his car, but the car's on fire. So I can't find a fire extinguisher to get this guy out. Well, I finally found one. And then these other guys came and stopped me from putting the fire out with the fire extinguisher. So they had like in their pocket or a bag or something that was like they were pointing a gun at me like the old robbers would do. And I took the gun in the bag, but there wasn't a gun in it. It was a butter knife. So I put the car out with the fire extinguisher.
And then you were the hero.
Yeah, I guess.
See?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
But
See,
that's
the bad part about
with
it
the
is I had
Formula
a
One.
dream last night. I know I had a dream last night.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, this is effing stupid.
Right.
What the hell am I thinking? But to be honest with you, I can't even tell you
Can't
what the hell
remember.
the dream was.
Probably
Yeah.
I remember the thought of thinking, this is so effing stupid.
I don't know if I had some really crazy dreams by drinking chocolate milk. Why don't you drink it more often? I would. I'd be like, look.
Yeah, it's like, let's do this.
I drink chocolate milk a lot all the time.
Well, I mean, the craziest dream I ever had was with we just first started this podcast, and it was Jimmy and Todd and myself. And for some reason, we were out camping, and we came upon this house in the woods. All right? This is just absolutely out of the blue bizarre. So somehow, we get knocked out. And the next thing I know is I'm on front of this this threesome thing going on. We're all fours like dogs.
I'm in the middle, right? I'm in the middle.
And I'm like, I'm like this. I'm like, where's Todd? And Todd goes, oh, whatever. I can't even see him because I don't do yoga.
But
or
you know
aerobics.
what the noise is.
Yeah, I gotta know exactly what the noise is.
When we were talking about the Centipede movie.
Yeah, well,
that's gross.
And then, that's exactly what happened there. That was the inspiration of that. If you look in the subtitles of that, it's all about all that.
And then Jimmy was hooked in my butt.
No. Well, let me ask you this about dreams. So, have you ever had a dream? Then you wake up and you're like, I wish I could remember the rest of this dream.
Oh, I hate that. This is the worst because I'm like, oh, that was so good, and I know the ending was good.
Yeah.
But
then you
can't remember it.
You try to put yourself back in a dream. You're like, God bless it, why do I have to wake up?
I gotta go back to sleep real quick.
Yeah. What's gonna happen?
No joke.
Please,
right?
oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please.
Hey, we have some big news coming up. There's going to be a Duggar dance coming on the area. I'm not going to. I'm not going to give it away, but it's going to be March 2nd. I'm not going to give it away where it's going to be a Best Western, but I don't know this for a fact. I heard that from a friend
in Bridgeport.
And it's going to be a party time. Be looking for details on that. Also, next weekend at the Robinson Grand in Clarksburg, the Caress Dance Company from Philadelphia will be down along with Melissa Rector. They're going to put on I think she said they're coming down on Thursday.
Yeah.
And the 26th is actually when it is at the Robinson Grand. So look for
that.
that. It's going to be awesome.
Are we going to shoot any footage for that?
Well, yeah, I haven't talked to Melissa since then. She mentioned earlier that we were going to do something.
And they're going to come in the studio.
I
won't be here next week.
Wow.
I got Little League.
Okay.
Which we got to talk about
like
some stuff.
3 months.
Well, right now, I mean, we're pretty busy. We got Little League sign up Saturday. Then
Right.
I got a meeting Sunday. So.
Yeah, practice will start in a couple months.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. Now, this is going to be very controversial because it's kind of cold outside. It's kind of, we don't want to stay around here all night because everybody's got to drive home. But we also want to warm you up.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to let you know right off the bat that this is not going to be something for kids to hear because somebody came up. This is all stems from the fact that we're not allowed to use or stand-up comics now. That is a dying art because people are becoming too offended from what the stand-up comedians say, and it haunts them now. So they try to make, and like Bill Cosby, though, he was a very clean guy, so it's possible. But a lot of these guys are like shock jocks, to get people's attention. And we just went to one couple like 6 months ago, and listen, it's hilarious. Because they make fun of stuff and
oh my god,
that's what a joke is.
Well, the thing is, like, there's Asian comedians. There are plenty out there. They make comedian of ourselves being Asian.
Sure,
but it's funny. I mean, it's
Well,
straightforward.
they play on stereotypes, and then everybody thinks it's funny.
Yeah,
and,
it is funny.
That's just like big fat guys get on there and they joke about being fat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody knows how to freaking laugh at anything.
No,
because
there'll be that one guy
by something.
Yep.
You know what? It's okay to be offended.
What's it?
It's okay to be offended.
Who?
Iglesias. Gabriel.
The kind of heavier little Mexican fella.
He says he's fluffy.
Fluffy.
Yeah, and he's got different stages of fatness. He says of fluffiness.
Different stages of fluffiness.
All right, they're going to start this. Now listen. Once again, I'm going to give you a countdown from 5, and after that, if you get offended, then you know what? It's not on us because I promise you.
Too bad.
I'm going to say it.
Listen, and the very first one's going to be. I'll do the very first one, and then you guys just knock it out because this will be enough to get me in trouble.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, these are very. What's you call? I don't know what you call.
Are we going to read all of these?
No.
Because there's a couple of them. I'm like,
yeah.
I already picked out one. I'm going to read this.
All right, here we go. Why are hurricanes normally named after women?
Wow.
Anybody have an idea? It's because when they come, they're wild and wet, but when they go, they take your house and car with them.
Yeah. That's the kind of jokes we're
I'll do
telling
this
tonight.
one because it's not so bad. Why didn't the toilet paper cross the road? Because it got stuck in the crack.
All right, now I'm going to turn it up just a notch.
Yeah.
What do the mafia and a vagina have in common?
I have no idea.
One slip of the tongue and you're in deep shit.
I love it. All right, here's one for you. Do you know what 6.9 is? It's a good thing they got screwed up by a period.
I get it. Yeah.
Brucey, do you want to get involved in this conversation?
Come on,
No,
Bruce.
Go ahead.
All right.
Okay, here you go. Here's one. What's worse than waking up at a party and finding a penis drawn on your face? Finding out it was traced.
I love that. That was a good one.
Hey, listen, how did the Burger King get the Dairy Queen pregnant? He forgot to wrap his Whopper.
So what does a perverted frog say? Rub it.
Let's see.
Hey, what do you call an Italian hooker, fellas?
What do you? I don't know.
A prostitute. You get it, you got that.
Let's see. How is a push-up bra like a bag of chips? As soon as you open it, you realize it's half empty.
Here we go. What's green and smells like pork?
I have no idea, Darren. What would that be?
Kermit the Frog's finger.
That's a great one right there.
As you can tell.
What do you got, Chad?
What's the difference between anal and oral sex? Oral sex makes your day. Anal sex makes your whole week.
Oh, my. Once again, we're going through some jokes here in celebration of the fact that stand-up comedy is dead, and we're trying to get it to the point of, well, even though we're not insulting anybody, we're just pretty much turning everybody off, I think.
Oh, I got one after Jimmy.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, D-Mac.
What did the letter O say to the letter Q?
Oh.
Dude, your junk's hanging out. Because the Q's got the little... Yeah.
Get it, Chuck? Yeah. Chuck.
Who was the world's very first carpenter? Well, it was Eve because she made Adam's banana stand.
What do you call a nun in a wheelchair?
Oh.
Virgin Mobile.
Hey, Jimmy, how do you get a nun pregnant?
I don't know.
Dress her up like an altar boy.
Oh my God, dude! You did not go there.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's worse than Virgin Mobile.
Feel free to use these tomorrow at the water cooler if you have a job.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, how does a woman scare a gynecologist?
I have no idea.
She becomes a ventriloquist.
Oh, no. What's the best thing about dating homeless chicks, fellas?
I don't know.
You can drop them off anywhere.
Hey, what's Moby Dick's dad's name, Chuck?
I have no idea what Moby.
Papa Boner?
How do you tell the difference between an oral and a rectal thermometer?
I have no idea.
By the taste.
Oh, man.
Most of these I don't even want to say, dude.
Wait a minute.
Hey, did you see the one? Listen. Do the one right underneath the midget, Darren.
Where's that?
Right there, right here.
Do that one?
Yeah.
What do tofu and a dildo have in common?
I have no idea.
They are both meat substitutes.
Oh, man.
Hey, Chuck, how is a woman like a road, Chuck?
I don't know. How is a woman
Oh, they
like
both
a
have manholes.
Hey,
my.
What's the difference between a woman being hungry and horny?
I don't know.
Where she puts the cucumber.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Should we keep this going or are we ready to go?
There's some on here that are hilarious, but I just don't want to say them. I'm not going to say them.
There's some
that make the hillbilly one. I'm not going to say that, but it's hilarious.
I don't even want it. It's like I get embarrassed reading.
I know. I'm like, man, I'm not
Hey, why does Santa Claus have such a big sack?
Hey, I got one right here.
Okay.
Because he only comes once a year.
Oh, my goodness.
And for West Virginia,
yeah.
How do you circumcise a hillbilly? Kick your sister in the jaw.
Hey, what did the cannibal do after he dumped his girlfriend? He wiped his butt.
Hey, what do you call two lesbians in a closet? A liquor cabinet.
Oh, righty then.
Terrible.
Make the rounds again one more time. We're going to see who's still on here with us. We'll take you some details.
Everybody probably logged off now.
I'm sure they probably did.
Actually, still remaining the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. We're all perverted in other ways.
Quite a few that
everybody's laughing too.
Okay.
Hey, what did the sanitary napkin say to the fart?
What?
You were the wind beneath my wing.
Oh, my good Lord.
Oh, there's some. I mean,
hey, listen, what's the speed limit of sex, by the way? Anybody know the speed limit of sex?
68.
68 because of 69, you have to
turn
turn around.
I've heard that one.
Hey, what do you call two lesbians in a closet?
We already
said that one.
Damn it.
What does the sign say when the brothel is closed?
I don't know.
Beat it. We're closed.
Here's a good one for the ladies. What's the difference between a G-spot and a golf ball?
Right here, Darren.
A guy will actually take time to search for a golf ball.
Hey, what do you call a woman who's paralyzed from the waist down?
No idea.
Married.
Hey, why does it take 1 million sperm to fertilize 1 egg? And the reason being is because they won't stop to ask for directions.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. You know, I had a blind girlfriend one time told me I was hung. She was just pulling my leg.
What's the difference between a tire and 365 used condoms? One's a good year. The other one's a great year.
Yeah. Hey, why do women rub their eyes when they get up in the morning?
I don't know.
They don't have balls to scratch.
Hey, what did the...
Oh, no. We are not really doing this, are we?
What did the leper say to the prostitute? Keep the tip.
Hey, what's the best
You get
part
it?
about
You get
sex?
it?
What's the best part about sex with 28-year-olds?
What?
There's 20 of them.
It took me a second to get that one. And I was like, oh, wait. It kind of went,
That is worse. That is worse than the altar boy.
What do you call a 13-year-old girl with from Kentucky who can run faster than her 6 brothers?
I don't know.
A virgin.
What's the difference between a Catholic priest and a pimple?
Oh, why are you going up? I don't know what.
Pimples don't come on a boy's
face.
Come
on, dude!
Until they're 13.
We're gonna get banned, dude.
All right, what does one saggy boob say to the other saggy boob?
What did they say, Chuck?
If we don't get some support soon, people will think we're nuts. All right, we need to quit this because this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Hey, why don't orphans play baseball, Chuck?
I don't know.
They don't know where home is. Oh, poor little
Hey,
orphan.
what do you call a party with 100 midgets? A little get-together.
Why can't you hear a psychologist using the bathroom? Because the P is silent.
Yeah, it is. And psychologists, what do they say? Like, pss, pss, you know, where is the P in that? Oh, my God.
Wait a minute, one more. I got to do this one. All right. What did Cinderella do when she got to the ball?
Oh, listen, man. I don't know if I want to hear it.
She gagged.
Oh! Once again, in light of, hey, listen, you can open up your ears again.
Yeah.
That was in light of the fact that stand-up comedy is dead. We love stand-up comedians. We have a lot of friends that do stand-up, and, well, you know what? We want to give support out by taking some heat off of them. Now, all the stuff that they do say about race and everything else, listen, it's going to seem pretty lame.
Now everybody just thinks we're pervs.
Hey,
That one after Darren
our live
said-
stream is still green.
That one that Darren said, though, with the tweet, that was ridiculous. And some of this Todd blasting out. That's really great.
These jokes do not express the views of the Rogan Radio crew. Like a little disclaimer.
All rights reserved.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Woo! I need a breath after that one. 7:45, getting ready for the super howling blood moon tonight. It almost sounds pretty sexy to say
But
that.
are we going to be able to see it with the weather?
I looked at it outside.
Yeah,
I can see
pretty
the full moon, yeah.
Okay, good.
It's like it didn't know what it wanted to do today. At one point, it was blowing the snow like crazy. Then, like 10 seconds later, it's like sun shining. I'm like, man, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, what time is that thing supposed to hit us here in West Virginia?
11:45, I believe. When you can actually see the super
Oh.
howling blood moon. Have you ever heard of a dude? Have you ever been, first of all, on a cruise?
I haven't. No, I haven't been on
Oh,
one yet.
I know exactly what video you're talking about.
What
No.
video?
The one where the boy jumps off the edge of that Royal Caribbean?
Yeah, it actually just happened. And
Yeah,
now
it was
listen to
it was
this
a
dude.
joke. He did it for his buddies.
Let me
and
put
they-
a camera on it.
They thought it was funny.
Well, there's not a video.
Oh, okay.
It's 27-year-old Nick Nadev, I guess we'll say that. He's from Vancouver, Washington. Anyway, he was on a Royal Caribbean cruise,
I'll
so
put
he
the
thought
link
it was
on
pretty funny because they're all into Instagram and things like that. So
Yeah.
he gets up on the 11th story where he can look over to the ocean, and he's taking a picture. The only problem is he falls in, and he falls into shark-infested waters at that.
Well, is this
Yeah.
not the
Does
same
he
one that I'm
fall or
talking
jump?
Well,
Is this not the same one I'm talking
actually,
about?
he
Yeah, it's-
jumped. He jumped in. So now he's coming out and saying, "Hey, listen, I don't want anybody to think that's cool. Don't put it, don't be stupid." Just like there was another kid doing this bird box challenge
Yeah,
with
driving
driving
over
another one. It's like, how can you be so damn
Yeah, it actually
dumb?
killed somebody.
Yeah. But yeah, he actually jumped in, and now he's coming out and saying, "Hey, listen, that wasn't a very good
He actually
idea."
got out of the water, so.
Yeah, and
apparently.
it got hurt up. He got beat up pretty good. They actually kicked him off the boat, as you can imagine, and
Well,
they
sure.
kicked him off. And
his friends
So how the hell does that work? They kick you off the boat. Is it like the next port? They're like, "Yep, sorry, find you."
Well, it said that he was kicked off the cruise in the Bahamas, and he had to shell out $200 for a plane ticket home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it was just him and his friends. I mean, they kicked them all off the boat.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah. So you know what? He could barely walk for 3 days after jumping off to take a picture. We did a story a couple years ago about the crazy ways people die as they take the selfies.
falling off
Perhaps one of my favorites though, because it is a tragic story. But the man and wife they had their kids out there they were on the cliff, and they were going to take a selfie, and for some reason no one remembered that they were on a cliff.
Dead.
Yeah, and they fell off the cliff.
Step back a little bit.
Like, hey, okay. Can you be any more dumb?
I mean, what? Yeah,
Darwin.
I guess. That's it, Darwin, right there.
Yep.
What the hell?
He needs to take a little bit more effect in today's world, though.
I have never, I've never been on a cruise, and I really don't have a desire to go on a cruise. I never. Did you just come back? Not too long ago.
Only cruise I've been on is military.
I've been on a few of those too, but
We're
these are a lot nicer, Darren.
We're
These
getting ready
are
to
a
go
lot
on a
nicer.
cruise in June. Actually, this will be our first one. I don't know. I've never been on one myself.
I've cruised on a kayak up the West Fork.
Heck yeah, boy. Heck
Sights
yeah.
you see there, beautiful.
Oh, it was great. Brown trout.
Yeah.
Tasty. You hit that big waterfall at the Worthington Beach?
No, actually.
Listen, that was like whitewater rafting. Before you had New River Gorge, you had Worthington, and you had the
Worthington
dam
Beach,
down there. Yeah, the Worthington Beach. I mean, that's a paradise.
You're-
I'm surprised actually, like Hilton or somebody hasn't put a hotel right
I mean,
there.
why wouldn't they?
I mean, it's a prime location.
We can if you want.
Flat right there. It's got a sporting place. It's right there on the main highway.
RoganRadio in.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, go right.
Yeah,
Get some night
buddy.
crawlers.
Get some night crawlers.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah, they're
You
all
guys are
over the
killing
street
me.
down there.
Where at?
Where are the night crawlers?
Quack, 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 quack.
Oh lordy.
But one of the things now is that these going back to these mini pigs. I was up at Lowe's the other day, when we were about 2 weeks ago, putting a hot water tank in.
Yeah.
So we're at Lowe's, and I'm hearing I'm hearing a bark, like a bark. I'm like, listen, I understand, and I'm not trying to be insensitive here, but there is a time and a place to have your dog with you, and it's not when you're at a restaurant or you're at the mall or you're at Lowe's or you're anywhere.
Right.
And the bad thing is, I used to say that about kids when we go out to a restaurant. I'd be like, and they'd be crying and going crazy. It's like, listen, I'm going to spend $60 here to have dinner. I don't need this distraction. I'm trying to talk I'm trying to smooth some words over here, and all I hear is wah, and all this kind of junk. And then now all of a sudden it's like dogs everywhere. They're in strollers and people walking them through the mall. It's like, listen, do me a favor. Keep your dogs at home. I understand people love dogs.
Right.
Listen, I'm a dog
Unless
lover
maybe-
myself.
unless
Here's
it's
a
a service
question.
dog.
Here's a question on. That's why I was getting ready to ask.
Yeah.
Does it bother you if it's a service dog?
Oh no,
Depends
absolutely
on
not.
the service dog.
But you know
if
what?
it's an emotional support dog,
exactly.
yeah, I'm like, come on.
Listen, if you're blind, listen.
Or deaf,
I'm not
or
going to
all
say,
that
I don't care. You leave your Labrador at home. I don't give a shit if you knock into the wall 10 times.
That's what them canes are
Yeah.
for, asshole.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Can't you hear? You still got ears.
Oh, Jack.
Oh my God.
Put a football
The rest of
helmet
your,
on.
all the other senses are heightened.
But I wouldn't. Of course, I'm not going to say that part. But you know what? When I'm walking around and they're in baby carriages and stuff like this, it's to the point of being ridiculous now.
Yeah. I was in. I'm gonna keep going.
No,
good.
Well, that's the entire thing. Is a lot of people they'll let them go in yards, on sidewalks, and everything else. And I've seen it in stores. I've seen it at the mall too, where the dog does this kind of junk, and they just
Right.
kind of walk away.
Yeah.
Well, I'm at the pet store, right? Pet safe or not pet safe, whatever.
No, you can a pet store.
Yeah,
A
a
pet
pet store. I'm at a pet store a couple weeks ago getting new collars for the dogs, and they encourage you to bring your animals in there.
Well,
Well, whatever.
I get
right?
that. It's a pet store.
Yeah, it's cool.
Until
Well-
one of the cats gets the birds.
Well, it wasn't. No, that'd be crazy. No, but this he's walking his dog in there, and the dog walks every little puppy. Pees all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Pees all over the place. And he didn't realize I saw this. And he was like, panicking. Picks his dog up, starts walking back to the other aisle, sets him down, and act like nothing happened. It's like, really, buddy? Just I'm sure they deal with that all the time.
Oh, they have to clean
Go
this
tell
up all day
somebody.
long.
I mean, my
Hey,
goodness
listen,
gracious.
My dog had an
Well,
Did you call him out on it?
No, I didn't.
Here's what I want to know: are there shoplifter dogs? Because there's a couple pet stores where they had the bones and stuff down low, like, like your dog can go in and pick a bone out.
You have to buy that now.
Yeah,
You
know what I
you
mean?
bought it.
Yeah.
And
Like
I
when
know-
you taste a grape,
and
or a strawberry to see if they're
And I have seen dogs be able to just chomp, like if it comes to ice cream, comes to bone. Listen, they can get 5 bones at a time and just chomp them down. It's almost like they've never eaten. I'm like, you've been eating all your life. I mean, it's not like you're starving, but you have the privilege of walking through a pet store at that. How many dogs can do that after going through the McDonald's drive-through? I mean, that's pretty amazing, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, but these dogs, and they're just like grabbing stuff. And which reminds me, I want to tell you this. if you do have a dog and you buy them like pig ears, or if you have anything cowhides, don't get anything. And I hate to say this to our Chinese friends, don't get anything from China.
Then I'll say it like this: don't get anything from China.
You're offending Bruce.
I know. I was saying.
The reason being is because there are stuff as they grow their livestock that the FDA in the United States is a lot different than it is, say, in China.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff, some diseases or virus will get through. So when your dog eats like a certain bone or a treat or whatnot, you'll start seeing these, or maybe even dog food perhaps, that virus or bacteria is still in actually the food. The FDA in the United States, I'm not saying they're great, but they're a lot better.
Right,
They're a little bit safer. So always buy made in the USA when it comes to give stuff to your dogs.
Good advice, Chuck.
Because if not, we're not going to see any dogs at the mall anymore. And that would break my freaking heart. You know what I mean? And you know what? If texting is illegal while you're driving, well, how about the guy with a little rat dog on his lap driving through there? And he can't see no little poodle driving around. I was like, listen, try driving. Is your dog driving? Because if it is, it needs to go on Letterman. That's pretty amazing.
Dude, I drove by this one lady one time. She was like all over the road. And as I drive by, I look over. And it's one of those giant, like, poodle dogs. It's, like, huge.
Yeah, poodles are actually pretty big.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like one of those, like, show-type ones that are, like, really tall. It's, like, sitting right in her view, and she's got a freaking cell phone in one hand.
A coffee.
And she's got a cigarette in the other hand, and she's trying to hold the wheel like this. And I'm like, what are you thinking?
That's when you go really fast and get away.
Hit
your brakes and stay way
She should
back.
teach that dog to hold her coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's a show dog.
Well,
They're pretty smart.
Yeah, they got to have a talent.
Yeah.
I
Hold
think
my
so.
coffee. Now.
What's your talent?
See, I was driving into Fairmont earlier today too, and beautiful dog, beautiful gray pit, sitting in the passenger seat right beside Mommy, looking right out the front window.
He was very well mannered.
Yeah.
Very well.
He had
mannered.
good parents.
I mean,
Wouldn't
honestly,
stand by.
sitting in the seat and looking straight out the front window.
Well, that's something
That was
else. They have. They actually have seatbelts if you're going to have your dog in a car, because I sent a video out to the fellows last night of like they have these dash cams now that shoot in like behind and frontwards, and you can actually see when they're in accidents what happens from the front, which is mostly what you
Are
see.
these Russian?
No, listen,
Are they
you
Russian?
don't watch any of these?
No, I saw
they're
the
all
link
over
on-
the place. No, they're all
Yeah,
over.
they're all
They're
over
from
the
all
place.
over the place. But then you
Really?
see what happens, the impact of what happens in the car, and it's pretty scary.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're not buckled in, like what Bruce brought up, if you have a dog, that thing becomes a hostile projectile bouncing around that daggone thing. Anything that's not
Nailed down or seat belted in?
Outside, there's a vehicle outside.
okay, I thought I heard like a bass drop. I was about ready to start singing about something.
Now, see, what's funny is you also got to pay attention to the quality of what you buy as far as that's concerned, too. Back when we were doing the Shinston senior night, and my parents got in that car wreck.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They actually had both of their dogs, both of them, one's a Shih Tzu and one's a mini Shih Tzu.
I love it when you say shit.
Shih Tzu. Anyway, they have a car seat for these damn dogs that actually is up off of the seat. It kind of hangs from the back of the headrest.
Okay.
Well, inside that car seat, there's actually D-rings that you hook their harness to, right?
Like for a child seat.
No, actually, it's in the dog's car seat itself.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The bad part about it is the leashes didn't break, the fabric didn't break, nothing tore. But what broke was the part that you clip to the D-ring, where it swivels.
Yeah.
It actually, both dogs, it broke that piece. Apart.
Really?
And then
That was the weak link then.
The mini Shih Tzu actually ended up underneath my dad's driver's seat.
Wow, under the seat.
Yeah. Now, neither one of them was injured. And
Oh,
everything.
that's okay.
You know,
Yeah,
neither
I'm
one
glad
of them was
of that.
injured. They're both fine. Matter of fact, they went straight to my aunt's house, and you'd have never known they was even in a car wreck. They
So
didn't-
are they designed to break like that? Or do you know?
It's by the impact.
No, the part that I'm talking about, it's like, you know how when you go down and you actually clip that onto the D-ring of their collar?
Well, I don't. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I was thinking,
Okay.
I don't know that one.
And where the clip is, and it has that little metal circle that
Yeah, I
sticks
got
through.
you.
The metal circle actually
That broke
broke
through. No shit.
The piece of metal actually broke.
Can you do me a favor, Chad? Can you go ahead and put your hands up to that camera and describe exactly
Where-
what's happening?
where there's a ring. Gotcha. and you goes through like this.
Yeah. Now pull it back out.
Audience.
Now pull it back out.
Okay.
Now put it back in. Now pull it back out. Now pull it back in.
Okay, anyway.
But yeah, so that broke. That's pretty scary though, because anything like that, you know what I mean. And some of those, the one bus. Maybe I'll have
bus
to post
crash.
Listen, it was 3 different things. The driver blows right out the window, but then all the people inside there, holy cow!
I went back and read the article on it.
Was that the one? Was that the one on the bridge?
No. That bus got hit by something first.
Yeah.
Right? But 17 people got ejected off that thing.
Oh, listen, what was that, Brucey, you were saying?
No, I think that bus is like a turnaround off the bridge.
Oh my goodness! So I know there was one something like that.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
that was nuts.
I watched him like twice. I watched all those.
Oh, I did too. And I was like, "You gotta be kidding!" And I was like, right when you think you can't beat that one, the next one comes along. And I was like, "Whoa, Michelle, look at this one! These people almost died right here."
Those got to be some of the most horrific inside views of the crashes, as a train wreck and a car wreck or a bus wreck.
Well, you know what, and that's the entire thing.
Because nobody's strapped in.
And that is what they need to show somebody when you do like your driver's license things, which I have a great question. It just popped into my brain.
Okay.
When you're going and you're trying to teach a 16, 17, 18-year-old to drive, you know what? You always say, watch out for the roads, watch out for this. Show them what actually happens during a car wreck.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to see even you could be going 25 miles an hour, but if you go 25 to 0, it's pretty impactful. Ask Jimmy. He's done it twice in 6 months.
Sorry, Jim didn't mean that.
Now, I do have to say one thing. There are buses that they do have seat belts for every seat and stuff like that. I went down earlier, in the fall, to a popular destination.
Tell us.
Florida.
Yeah.
There we go.
Went down to Disney, and the shuttle that they
Red's
had.
Angels. Dirty Vegas.
Dirty Vegas.
No.
Okay,
sorry.
continue. I didn't mean to
Anyway,
interrupt.
they put us on the shuttle at the airport, took us down to the hotel at the resort and everything. And those buses, Disney thinks of a lot of stuff that, just every day you wouldn't really. Safety belts on all their buses.
Mm-hmm.
They even, plenty of space. And it's the reason they want all the space in between the seats is just in case there is an accident down there.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
That's
sense.
one of the things that's in the. It's got pamphlets just like airports do or airplanes. You go reading through the pamphlet and everything, and they tell you why the shuttle was designed the way that it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's all for the convenience, the comfort, and the safety of
And
the
no
passengers.
lawsuits.
And
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Which brings
so-
up a great question. I'm going to ask 2 questions because this is going to spur. Chad said airplane twice, and you know what? It brings up a great question for me. So here's the thing: if on your, in a car, like it's probably because of this right here. You get in a bus. Yeah, because there's that electrical. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, if you're in an airplane, let's say if you're driving, like if we go driving tonight, there's like sleet and stuff in the air. You know when your windshield wipers, it kind of streaks, and you can't get that one layer of block off your ice right on your windshield.
Right there.
You think that ever happens on an airplane?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Can
Absolutely.
you imagine? And they just can't roll the
get out
window
there.
down. Like, hold on, Joe. Hold on to the thing. I'm going to open the window up and wipe the windshield off.
That's when they fly by instruments only.
And you would have to that would be balls
That's part of their training.
to fly by instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like Bird Box. They fly with their
Bird
thing on their
I
face.
mean, if you think about it,
The Bird Box Challenge pops all the
totally
time.
darkness up there in the sky. I mean,
Oh yeah, you can't. There's no road signs.
I remember in
road lights.
'63 I was flying DC-10s.
I
and
can't wait
when-
to hear this guy.
Yeah, and when we would start flying by instruments, I always broke
Yeah.
out the saxophone, and I was like, "Listen, this plane is going to be great." So I broke out the saxophone.
Bill Clinton?
Co-pilot had like a trumpet, and then the person in the back had a cello, and we had a heck of a threesome in that cockpit, landing it. You know why they call it cockpits, by the way?
No, I don't.
No, we're not going to go there. We already did that. But here's my second. Now, this is actually a serious question. You know the federal driver's license. Now, in 2020, it's now all the states have jumped on board with DHS, and in 2020, to get on an airplane, you are
You
going
have
to
to
need
have
a federal driver's license.
Okay,
Yeah,
no,
they
just
won't
stop.
take an individual state license.
I don't have a federal.
I do.
You're going to need one
So I'm going to have one
by 2020.
If you want to fly.
Okay, because see now my driver's license doesn't expire till like 2021.
yeah, but
they'll
the passport are valid too.
Well, you're going to have that driver's license.
But I have to-
What
2020,
about people that don't have driver's license? Like kids.
they have. Well, it's the real ID card. You have to go through that process.
Go a federal ID.
But you have to go through the process. So it's going to be the same process. This one you can drive in. But here's my question. And I was trying to. Michelle is getting ready to go through. She has one like the state license.
Yeah.
So it's like, look, you might as well because it's so close to 2020.
Right.
And they finally, I think there's 17 states left that haven't jumped on board with this thing, but they, because of power struggle there. But anyhow, I said, you might as well just go with the federal because if not, you're not going to get on an airplane. Right. I mean, they've pretty much said that clear. So when we re-up, well, you don't have a federal driver's license.
No, not yet.
Okay, because it's a hassle. I mean, it's a hassle. You have to have everything but a stool sample to get your federal ID, driver's license. You have to have all this kind of stuff.
The first time.
Well, see, no, I have not.
I've renewed mine.
Have you? Okay, so you have a federal driver's license, and then you renewed it.
Yep.
So you just go in, and after that, it's all normal.
Yeah, after
just
that,
go
it's
in
just easy peasy.
It's actually once you get the federal and then you renew it, it's actually easier than getting your original driver's license.
Oh, okay, because you've already been through the background.
Also, there's my ID, so that's what it says. Renew. And matter of fact, that's probably when I had it done. Right.
Okay. Well, that's what I didn't know. I didn't know if we were going to have to go through this entire process every single time. What is a driver's license? 4, 5, 6 years?
4 years?
No, it
5
depends.
years.
It depends on the last number of your age.
Really?
Okay. Of how many years you get?
Your age is because the first this last time before I renewed, I had 8 years, and this time I think I only got 4.
Okay, so I got 5 on this one, and I'm renewing 2020.
Yeah, at the time you go in to renew it, it's depending on the last number.
Well,
of
I feel
age.
like I'm getting ripped off then. If I could go 8 years, well, I guess
wait a minute.
What if I'm 41?
Mine's still on that 5-year increment.
If I'm 41, then it doesn't
you
mean
lucked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mine's on 5. Well, here's what's crazy. When I first got, you know how they give you like a junior's operators?
Yeah.
I never had that. I walked right into an operator's license because the guy screwed the paper up. Oh. So from the get-go, I didn't have any restrictions or anything.
I got you. Now, when you started driving,
96.
Did they see when I started driving? There were no. When you were 16, it was like you might as well have been 40. I mean, there were no restrictions.
Yeah, I didn't have any restrictions. Now, my classmates did. But I lucked out.
Well, that's what I mean. And when they started doing this, like to 10 o'clock, it's to 17.
Then you had to be renewed.
No
18.
passengers in the car.
When did that actually get into effect? Because there's all kinds of rules, and that's what I'm trying.
I didn't get my license until I was 18. So
really,
yeah.
Well, I'm glad my kids are older because I didn't know about them restrictions. It was out all ours.
Yeah,
they turned 16.
Your junior operators was you could drive like past when it got dark. You weren't allowed to have passengers.
Right. Well, I think from 16 to 17, you can't have any passengers. Period. That aren't family.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Period. And
unless your parents with you, right?
Right. Well, yeah, right. And then you can't be out past 10.
Right.
No sex in the back seat.
Dude,
I'm just saying.
That should happen any time.
It don't matter. That wouldn't matter for you anyway.
It never did, Jim. Never did.
That's why he's growing his hair out. He was like the lone.
But it's like I didn't get renewed till I was 21. Everybody else I knew on their 18th birthday had to get another driver's license.
It's very confusing to me.
I was looking at mine. Mine was I was issued in, of course, my birthday.
Yeah.
September of 2018. But so I ended up with 5 years this time too.
Maybe it's all 5 years now.
Well, no, because they still had the numbers. Up there.
No, because so
it's the last number of the current age.
Okay.
It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh,
yeah, because
so it might be 8 years for me next
1
time.
1 to 3 is like 2 years. 4 to 6 is like 3 years, whatever.
Well, that's how they did mine too. When I had to renew mine, when I got the federal license, I had 6 years before I turned like
60.
40. I had 6 years before I turned 40.
So they
went 6 years, and once I got to 40, it went to every 5 years. So now it's 40, 45, 50, 55. That's what I'm going to have to.
Jessica said Jessica's was for 10 years.
10-year license.
Hers is a regular state issue driver's license.
When I had a West Virginia license before I left, and then I moved away for 4 years, and then when I came back, not only did I get the same driver's license number, they didn't. I guess they must have kept it on file. I got the same driver's license number, and then it was 4 years. It was 2015 to 19.
Huh. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
I couldn't believe that they gave me the same number back.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
And the irony of life sometimes, life is not fair. So I'm going through this stuff, and for me, it was a hassle. And one of the biggest things I had a hassle with, and I argued with them at the DMV. And listen, they don't. This isn't their gig. They're just. It's like arguing
their work.
It's like arguing with somebody on the telephone. They're just doing their job. They could care less what you're arguing about in the first place. It's not their. They didn't cause this. So I went up there, and they wanted a birth certificate. That was one of my DHS approved things.
Oh,
with
yeah,
birth
this
certificate.
drives me insane.
Oh, there's all kinds of different junk. So I went up there with my birth certificate. Sealed, had everything on it. They said, no, sir, I'm sorry, this isn't from the courthouse. And I was like, well, I appreciate you saying that, but I was not born in a courthouse. I was born in a hospital, and this is the one where I got
I'm
you know,
sure they
from
appreciate
actually
it.
the hospital.
Little footprints on it.
Yeah, it had everything. Yeah, you know what I mean? I was like...
Had the race seal? Had the race seal on it?
It was like, I was like 8 pounds, 1 ounce, 6 feet with a big old dong is what it said right on. The doctor was like, amazing. He called
B.O.D. Big old dong.
That's why they call me William Guinness Book Rogan. I mean, it's nuts. No, but anyhow.
They tried to put shoes on your dick.
Jeez, I don't even
out of control.
Listen,
you know, you got to buy 3 shoes now.
Why would you have to buy?
You got 3 shoes now.
Well, what good's that going to
A
do for the
shoe
shoes?
would, but anyhow,
Shoe, you got to put a shoe on your dick.
dude,
We're gonna get banned for sure.
No. It's
Dude.
Look, you just said you had a big dong.
As you can tell. Yeah, because I had a live-in roommate from China. His name was Dong.
His
Long
name was
Duck Dong.
And he had one leg, and then that's why you only needed one shoe.
Gee whiz.
Right or left shoe?
Your left.
No, okay. Anyway, go ahead.
It's a unisex shoe. There is no curvature. It's straight.
Yeah, it's a
like
sandal.
All
Yeah.
support. They call it the support shoe.
That's right.
Ooh, a
Anyway.
sandal with the
Listen. Okay.
with the string right up the
Listen.
middle.
I knew this was going to be an issue when I started
gotta
making those
watch
jokes.
for it.
Yell at Darren now. Don't yell at me. Yell at
This
Darren.
doesn't happen. Normally, we're a pretty like we have to. Normally we get on here and we have all these things that we talk about before we hit the air, and then we're like, we can't do that tonight for whatever reason. We were like, you know what? It's snowing outside. You know, bring out the vodka and moonshine because we're staying warm in here, boy.
See you in 6 months when we're unbanned.
Nice knowing you. I'm glad somebody else bought the show.
It's free.
Hey, it's free, so you get what you get.
They bought it for free.
This is
That's
Chuck.
a lot of money.
This is
So-
Chuck.
Look at him.
So
This
anyway,
is Chucky.
Kickstand.
There's 1 shoe,
Tripod.
2 shoe, 3 shoe.
That's where you just put the tennis ball on the end so it just drags along.
Like one of those old
Yeah,
walkers.
like a scooter on a walker.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
my
just hoping to
God.
get one of those things
That
you
way
put
it don't
underneath.
squeak.
You just put. What I always used was one of those old like those old things you put underneath the legs of furniture. Man, you could push it like a 10,000-pound deep freezer around with one arm with them things.
Easy mover.
It's kind of bizarre looking.
It's got the
when you-
plastic bottom on it and the cushion on the top.
Yeah, when you look in the snow, though, somebody thinks like it's something from the day the Earth stood still or something. It's like, wow, are there aliens out there? I caused 5 crop circles myself just going outside and peeing. It's insane. It's craziness.
That's getting hot in here now.
So anyway, going back to the story, is I was just trying to be a butt. I was just trying to be a hardhead about the entire deal of like, no, I don't need it from the courthouse.
Right.
The courthouse got it from the hospital. I'm breaking out the middleman and showing you actually the one from the actual, the hospital.
Yeah.
You can't get more legit than that. But you know what? Didn't work. So I actually had to go to Sistersville and get a birth certificate.
They now consider the ones that we all got at the hospital novelty for the parents.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, I mean that's
exactly
true.
right.
That's true. But like I ordered last time I got birth certificates for the kids. I got like 6 of them in my safe.
How many kids do you
Oh, I
have?
did the same
2.
thing.
But what I'm saying is I bought like
Then he knows of.
I bought like I don't know 4 or 5 a piece, and they're in my safe. 'Cause you need them for everything.
Yep.
Right.
Hey,
so.
you want to talk about something that's a daggone nightmare, and you wouldn't think so because it's one of the actual 50 states.
Okay.
Have 2 of your kids be born in Hawaii, and try to get a birth certificate from them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can
You
only
know-
imagine because it cost me $35
My
to
gosh.
get one from Georgia.
Yeah.
Not only that,
Oh,
they
Hawaii,
have
but they don't
you
like
know,
us anyway.
it's- For some reason, the records department and everything over there is different. I don't
Yeah.
know why, and I don't,
Well, Obama
but
was born in
I
Hawaii,
tell
right?
you what,
Look how long it took him to
man,
get his
that
birth
was a
certificate.
nightmare.
Hey, you know what? Then if somebody ever asks for my birth certificate, who's gonna? I don't mind bringing one. I say, can you read it?
Yeah.
So, well, Bruce, that's
This is
interesting. What
That's
I mean, what do you do?
translate that?
Yeah, like when
You
you,
know
when
me?
you when,
All
when-
this says
hey,
I was
well,
born.
did you-
Speak on one
Did you
by
have
France.
to, like, say, when it comes to now? This is a great question.
Yeah.
When you have to have a federal driver's license and you go through this thing, what is going to happen with Bruce? Do you show
Green
I mean,
card?
Like,
I
like,
don't
like
know.
well, it's like a passport and your visa and all that's going to be good.
I would say the green card.
So does
You
your
have a green-
driver's license look just like ours now, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the
but he
picture's
said-
different.
Yeah. He just said that just drive.
Yeah. Okay.
Put that up there so everybody can see where you live and everything.
Give us your driver's license number, please.
Yeah, so you carry around your green card too, or is that what the visa or
He
whatever?
better carry around his damn green card.
Hey,
Really?
Cindy's actually got
No
an answer about this.
No
About the
kidding.
birth certificate.
Oh, okay.
I'm listening.
We had to,
Hold
we
on,
had
I got to
deal
turn
with
her up.
Yep, turn her. We actually had to deal with this.
Okay.
It wasn't. I don't know that I really have an answer, but I had legal custody of a child born in France.
Okay.
And she'd been here since she was 3 years old. Very long story. But at any rate, I had to get a birth certificate from France.
Mhm.
It was very difficult
Oh, I'm
because
sure.
I'm sure.
I don't speak French. Number one, I
Right.
had to write a letter in French to the consulate, or they don't call them cities in France, but wherever it was she was born, they don't call it a county. And then,
Probably
of
a
course, I
parish.
get back a French birth certificate. I'm like,
Well,
what?
sure, yeah.
What good is this? Like,
Right.
So then you have to have it legally translated.
Good night.
Yeah,
I did that my part.
You know,
myself.
it's just a lot easier to come here illegal, I think.
I think
Not for long, Chuck. Okay,
Yeah.
so you did it yourself. How are they going to know if you could write down whatever you want? And how are they going to know?
There's probably going to be some kind of like with the
No,
consulate.
he's saying he took care of the legal translating
On his own.
on his
Yeah,
own.
on my own.
Just took it upon himself to get that done.
He took it upon himself to get it done.
Oh.
Yeah.
He didn't actually do it.
So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
is there dual citizenship there?
Yeah.
Okay.
She,
So my grandma was dual citizenship. I just
Right.
wondered. That's
Yeah.
pretty neat. Pretty neat.
But this poor girl was brought here at 3 years old. None of us had any idea she was an illegal U.S. citizen until I got custody of her.
Oh, wow.
It was a nice night.
See, I didn't
Yeah,
think
it was
I
a
didn't think the
nightmare.
U.S. actually recognized dual citizenship.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
other
no, they
countries
do.
does.
Yeah,
No, they will.
you can declare
Yep.
that.
Yeah, my grandma was dual citizen.
I think West Virginia
But I
passed
mean,
that
if
law
you're-
a couple years ago
what-
where guys can.
Well, just
marry
like
guys.
my kids were
Well,
born
no.
here.
Now let me ask you this, and now say there is dual citizenship, but you know what? There is something I don't know what it is. Say if you come from Japan or come to Germany and you want to be a U.S. citizen, okay, and you don't want to give up your Japan or German
right.
citizenship, okay, you can do that. But if you're born in America and I want to say move to France, then I can't become French. I have to stay American.
You can.
Now, I sort of.
You can, depending on the country, because I looked this up about Ireland. You can get another country's citizenship, but you cannot give up your American citizenship.
Okay.
If you do, you're not coming back.
Yeah, once you're done,
You
you're
know what I mean?
done.
Then
Well,
it's
see,
just
I-
like you.
can,
That's like
and
you
it
were
depends
born
on the
there.
country. Every country out there is different on whether or not they accept
Well, I
dual
thought
citizenship.
I thought the
from
United
America.
Okay, well, then maybe because I remember something about if you wanted to become a dual citizen as a born American,
yeah.
that you good luck.
You could go over and become citizenship,
But
you
that's
have to
probably-
come back over here and stay
But
a
you're
certain amount of time.
you're
each
never
year.
you're never not American, say because
Right,
once you
exactly.
do, you
Yeah,
never
exactly.
will
like a
be.
visitor.
Unless you denounce your American citizenship.
Yeah, and then you're
That's
done.
how it's gonna be for me
I
too.
got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I just didn't know how.
Yeah, 'cause I looked
didn't
that
know
up
how
about
worked.
Ireland.
It's all confusing because I mean we're looking through this paperwork to get Michelle's federal driver's license. I'm like, what a nightmare for a woman. Say if you've been married, and you have to go through this entire process and stuff. I just have to
Well, and
basically
God
walk.
forbid a woman's been married more than once.
Then they have to
she's
get
gotta
you
get
have
her
to
whole
document
divorce
all that.
decree and all that.
Oh,
But I'll tell you, I have never, literally, knock on wood, I have never had an issue at the DMV ever. I've taken what they tell me to take, boom, 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 in and out every time. Every time.
Yeah,
It's
I've never
literal.
had an issue.
I've
I just don't
had
pay
those
attention.
problems, but it was my fault. Not
I'll tell
theirs.
you. I'll tell
'Cause
you.
I didn't bring what I was supposed to.
The thing that-
I know I don't want an issue because I'll lose my temper quick.
Well, the thing that I do now, I go to Kroger's and I use a kiosk,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm in and I'm out in 3 minutes. I don't even go
I
to
just
the
do
DMV
mine
anymore.
online.
Well, see, I just like to have it because I don't trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are certain
Getting
things
lost
you
in the
can't do
mail.
at the kiosk, but most of it. You
Yeah,
can
like
do.
me, I cannot do
I
that.
could-
I have to
What's
go
that?
over physically make.
Oh, you have to.
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
you get a physical
yeah,
show
for
up.
the yeah.
Some kind
You can
of.
do it at the courthouse, too.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's never a line.
Anyway, what a
Yeah.
show we had. You know what? How do we end up? We start out kind of funny, then we get really filthy, and then we end up something really serious. You see how it works? That's the whole.
It's like
Never
watching
know.
YouTube.
It very much is. You go from one video to another. You start out with toy trains, and you end up with something with World War I, and then you end up watching a cooking show.
I hope we didn't scare a lot of people away with
Hey,
those jokes. I
I
saw
wanna-
people
I wanna-
logging on, off real quick, logging on, off.
Yeah.
Oh, did you
Oh, they're
really?
horrible. Yeah, they were.
Make a shout out to the Carol.
Yeah, Carol made
Carol
regular.
made a regular.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
First day yesterday as a full-time regular employee with the Postal Service.
Hell yeah!
Good.
Congratulations,
Fantastic.
Miss Carol.
Yeah, yeah. Good job.
Fantastic.
Good job.
Well, you know what? What's it?
Hey, Chuck.
Yes.
Why was the two-piece swimsuit invented?
I have no idea, dude.
To separate the hairy from the dairy, baby.
The hairy from the dairy.
Oh my God.
That's what I meant. I just one more. I just had to do
We better
one.
end this
I'm
real
sorry.
quick.
Okay. With that one being said, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Once again, you can check out the audio part, which is actually a lot better because you can actually take your time and you just have one sense at that point.
Yeah.
Your ears listening to it, and you'll hear a lot of things that you don't catch if you're watching video. If you are an avid podcast listener, go ahead and check out the Facebook video. It's on, and YouTube for that fact. We go live every Sunday around 7, 7:10, 7:15 sometimes. It just depends, because we do a lot of, this is therapy. This is therapy night for all of us.
Yep.
But once again, go ahead and like, subscribe, and all of that kind of jazz. You know how it works. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Stitcher, iTunes, iHeart. Oh, man, where else?
Everywhere.
It's basically
anywhere you
everywhere.
can get a podcast.
Yeah, we need to get on Tidal now.
Yeah, and do all this kind of stuff. So once again, we want to thank you for really listening because it is kind of it's a blast for us, really, and especially when we only get together now because it's so cold outside.
Hey, speaking of which,
we really
of which,
can get together.
You know what? Your mama's so stupid. When Daddy said it was chilly outside, she ran out the door with a spoon.
Looking for something to eat. Chilly. All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening again. On behalf of Chad Puccio from Monongah, we have D-Mac down there. We have the lovely and talented. We have Cindy down there. Ooh. And we have the lovely and talented Darren down there. Straight from Tokyo, Japan, Bruce Takahashi from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We have Jimmy Wiz and, of course, the Chewbacca of the show, the best friend a guy could have. Total dipshit. Doesn't really care what he says. If the thing goes down, you know what? It's on his money that's going to be lost, so who cares? I'm just going to walk in here like a labradoodle, looking like Tottadoodle, with all my gray hair and beard, trying to look like Darren to be a Viking or some kind of junk.
Okay,
my metal
you're
helmet on,
flattering
go
me.
down,
Stop
walk through town
flattering
with
me
my
like
sword.
this.
And it's free.
Moving right along.
And once again, this episode is free, and we have made the declaration tonight. Every episode after this will also be free for everyone.
There you go.
You're welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we'll see you next week. On behalf of all of us, you have been listening to Rogan Radio.
Later.